Hello, everyone. Buenos dias, as they say here in Paraguay. Again, I hope you've been enjoying the classes and finding some benefit for your body and your mind. Um, Try to make a focus of each class. So today's focus is overall spinal mobility, which is important because the spine, we sometimes forget that it's one great mind, and you want a healthy spine not only for your posture, but also the health of your spine affects all of your organs, um, different ganglion and nerve centers that are controlling all of your internal daily activities. Um, we forget about that a lot. So important to have a healthy spine. Healthy spine, healthy mind. Can't remember who said that. I think it was Wilfred Brimley. Um, so we'll start in a seated position. You can either be seated, or we will also have the option of, after centering, sitting in Vajrasana. And if you have trouble getting your hips down to your heels in this pose without any discomfort, you might want to put a pillow or some sort of blanket in between your bum or your thighs and your calves. Or some people like to have something under their shins to raise a bit. But a few of the warm-ups we're doing might be easier in Vajrasana to keep your spine erect rather than sitting. But for the opening, find any sort of comfortable seat. Come to close your eyes. Just start to witness your breath. Just being aware of its natural rhythm and sensations in the nose, the throat, chest, the abdomen. Not really trying to control it, just being aware of it and taking a moment to redirect your intention to the breath. You focus on this moment for the next hour or so of practice. Just being here for the practice, letting the past and future day fade away. Just being with your breath, movements, the asana. Open the eyes and we'll start to warm up the breath and the spine. Inhale wide and high with the arms overhead. Look up, gaze at the hands. Exhale to the heart center. Inhale again. Really reaching at the top to extend through the spine. And exhale. One more time, following the breath with the arms. Exhale to the heart center. Now bring your left arm down. Inhale the right arm up. Reach. And then exhale into a slight side bend to the left. And you can keep your hand there or slide it out bit by bit if you want to go further into the stretch. And take a couple nice deep breaths into your right abdomen and the ribs, the right side. Being aware not to be punching forward, but maybe actively press into that hand a little bit so you can keep the chest open and your arm roughly in line with the spine. On your next exhale, come to the center. Place the right arm down. Inhale the left arm up, reach, extend. And exhale over to the right, adjusting your right hand if you need. Without hunching forward. Few nice, deep, mindful rounds of breath into the left side. Next exhale, come back to the center and roll over on your hands and knees in tabletop, finding shoulder and wrist alignment and hip and knee alignment. And we'll do sort of a variation on cat-cow. We'll be, rather than the sort of standard, more vertical motion, we'll be making little barrel rolls with the chest. So it's in a circle from side to side. And also this time we'll be flipping the way we're breathing. Normally we're exhaling as we flex the spine upward. But this time we'll inhale on the up cycle, exhale on the down. Because actually our inhale sort of complements our natural thoracic curve, which is an outward. So when you're ready, start rolling to the right, exhaling on your way down, inhaling as you flex the spine upward, exhaling as you roll down, and you can be a little playful here, bending your elbows a little more than you normally might. And we're just warming up, so you can be a little wild with it and incorporate your neck if you want to, or be little nooks and crannies of your body that are feeling delightful and playful. Next time you're at the top of the inhale, exhale down to the left and make some opposite circles. This time you reach the top on your inhale, exhale to a neutral spine, tabletop. And then keep your hips in place, but walk your hands outward so your arms are roughly straight. And then lower your chest and chin down toward the ground for puppy pose. And if that's a bit intense for your arms, you can walk your hands in a little bit and place your elbows down to take some of that pressure off your arms. And take a few nice deep rounds of breath, focusing on the chest area and the upper back, shoulder blades. And then walk your hands slowly back in. Now we're coming into Vajrasana, so here's where you want to place a blanket between your thighs and calves if you need it, or anywhere else. And sit your hips back on your heels. And a quick counter stretch for puppy pose. Interlace your fingers. Inhale up. And then come into a slight back bend here, focusing just on your thoracic region. So you don't want to overarch your lumbar spine. Don't want to feel any over compression in that area. And take a couple nice breaths into the chest. Just a subtle back bend. Exhale, release your fingers and hands down. From here, we'll do a little spinal twist and breath exercise, which looks like this. You'll inhale your left arm out to one side, pressing the right hand on the chest. Exhaling when you reach the center, inhaling to the other side, but it'll be much faster than that, like got it. All right, so when you're ready, we'll begin with the arms out. Inhale, exhale, and inhale to the left, begin. And 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax at the center. Kind of makes your arms tired, so just relax a moment here in Vajrasana, or you can even take child's pose with the arms inactive down by the side for a moment. Relaxing your breath again. And we'll just pause a moment before we move in the main sequence to let our breath relax again. Your hips back up, find tabletop, and then extend through both legs into plank for a moment. And then spreading wide through the fingers, pressing actively into all corners of the hands. Press away into the mat, press your hips back up into downward dog, taking any fluid motions you crave. Especially anything your body's craving along the spine. Just play around for a moment. See what you can sort of feel out in your body. Maybe as you're moving, scan the body and the spine, especially back and chest, for any areas of tightness, and you can perhaps make that an area of focus and mindfulness for the rest of the practice, since this is focused on spinal mobility today. Then slowly settle in for a moment in a static downward dog pose. Then gaze forward, tiptoe your way to the top of the mat, feet close together, and forward fold. And then staying uncoiled with the upper spine and neck, start to slowly roll up, knees slightly bent, vertebra by vertebra, not uncoiling your upper neck or upper spine until the very top. And now, here, interlace your fingers, maybe the more awkward way that you normally don't do it. For me, that's left pointer on top. And inhale up, flipping the palms to the sky. Reach, reach, reach for a moment. Come up onto the balls of your feet. Exhale back down. And start to make those circles forward. So come into a side stretch to the right, and then start to roll forward as you reach forward with the spine. And then over to the left, coming up on your inhale into a side bend and overhead stretch. And continue that cycle, remembering to exhale on the down cycle as you flex the spine backward, and inhaling on the up circle as you reach and extend through the spine. And also be mindful of your hips, incorporating nice opposite contrasting circles to the arms, torso. Next time you reach the top, inhale, reach, and exhale over to the left and start to make those circles in the opposite direction. This time you reach the top, inhale one last time, reach, come up again onto the balls of your feet, and exhale the hands through the heart center and down to the side. No, I'm not drinking a beer, if that's what you were wondering. I swear, it's some fresh mountain water that I harvested from the hills yesterday. At least that's what I tell people. Back to your breath. Your breath awareness into these next 2 rounds of sun salutation. Get blood moving through the whole body, warm up the muscles. Breath. Open the eyes, bend into the knees, inhale the hands overhead. Exhale through the heart center and hinge at the hips, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, press into the ground or your shins to extend through the spine. Lifting up. And exhale, step your right foot back. Swivel the foot so it's heel to heel alignment with the front in a 90-degree angle. Setting up for warrior 2. And remember to stay active down the side of the back leg, pressing out through the heel and the side of the right foot. And maybe stay active through your glutes if your hips are popping backward. Fighting that urge for your knee to cave in so you keep the groin open. Ideally working day by day to a point where you can see your front toe in this pose. That way you know you're Knee is aligned over the heel. Next inhale, slide the right hand down the back leg. Bring the left arm overhead for a couple breaths into the left side body. Exhale, bring your elbow to the front knee and bring your right arm over the leg or overhead towards the front if you can maintain posture without hunching. And you can also press into your elbow and knee into the elbow a bit to help open your chest, keep the spine aligned. On your next exhale, square your back foot and hips to the front, framing your left foot with the hands, and step back into a plank and challenge yourself by lowering down into chaturanga, low push-up, or if you need to, knees, chest, chin, placing your hands next to the chest or upper ribs. Inhale with your back muscles raise up, and then gently press into the hands, hugging your elbows in, shoulder blades together in cobra. Exhale back down and press back up into plank or tabletop and up and away into downward dog. And gaze forward. Step your right foot up to the top of the mat. Pivot your heel again, setting up for warrior two on the other side. Align your heels. Align your front knee and heel. Activate your glutes to keep the groin open. And readjust your torso if it's off kilter from your center line, from your hips. And gaze out over the front hand, finding a fixed point of focus, your drishti. Next inhale, slide your hand on the back leg, inhaling the right arm overhead, maintaining posture in your hips and legs. On your next exhale, bring the elbow to the front knee, inhaling, then from there, your left arm up over the knee or overhead for a deeper side stretch if you can keep from caving inward. On your next exhale, frame back towards the front of the mat. Maybe pulse a little bit back and forward, and then challenge your balance by pressing forward, trying to make one fluid step into forward fold, and then halfway lift on an inhale, exhale back down, and inhale all the way up overhead. Slight back bend from your thoracic region. Exhale to the heart center and relax your hands down to the side. The next round we'll actually do a Chandra Namaskar, moon salutation, since we have a full moon coming up in a couple days. Embrace the power and energy of the full moon. Inhale, bend into the knees. Bring the hands overhead. Slight back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step your left foot back, drop the knee, into low lunge. And once you're set up with roughly knee to heel alignment, back foot facing out if you want a deeper groin stretch, or toes tucked if you want to stretch your arches a little bit. And I'm actually going to keep my toes tucked just because I've been doing a lot of hiking and stresses the arches. From here, inhale the arms up next to the ear. Interlace your fingers, keeping the thumb and pointer finger free. And then from here, if it's comfortable for your low back, we'll come into a slight back bend, focusing that again from your thoracic region, coming into Chandra Namaskar Asana, moon salutation. On your next exhale, fold forward over the front foot, straighten through your back leg, slide your right foot back into plank, and lower through chaturanga. This time coming up into cobra, or straight away into upward dog with the hips raised. And again, press actively down into the hands, pressing firmly into all your fingers as well to take pressure off the wrists. And not just pressing up, also pulling back on the mat a little bit so you're pulling your chest forward and open. On your exhale, come back down towards the ground, retuck your toes, and press up into a plank, and back and away into downward dog. And then gaze forward, work your left foot towards the top, dropping the right knee to the ground, either tucking your toes or facing them backward so you can sink deeper into the hips. Coming up into low lunge for a moment, roughly knee to heel alignment in the front at first. And then inhale your arms up next to the ear, interlacing fingers, leaving the thumbs and pointer fingers free. And then on your next inhale, reach with the hands and then come into a back bend from the thoracic region into Chandra Namaskar Asana, moon salutation. Moving a little bit forward if you feel any pinching or compression in your lumbar spine, your lower spine. On your next exhale, roll forward, framing the front foot, straighten through your back leg, and start to pulse back and forward a little bit. And we'll test our balance again as we step forward. On your last pulse, leaning your weight forward, and then trying to make one fluid step to the top in forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. And inhale, bend into your knees and bring the hands overhead, reaching through the spine. Exhaling to the heart center. Inhale the arms overhead again. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Remembering to stay long in your spine before forward folding. Bend in the knees. Press back to a plank. And slowly lower to the ground. Coming onto your belly. Where we'll do a few little baby cobras to get a slight back bend while also strengthening our spinal stability muscles. So flip your toes facing backward so you can support your spine by gently pressing down into the tops of your feet into the ground. Bring your arms out into roughly a cactus sort of shape to the side, hands hovering off the ground. And on an inhale, lift the chest off the ground as much as you can, activating your back muscles. Exhale down. We'll do 5 like this. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. I find it also gives a nice little massage to the muscles around the sternum. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And on this last one, we'll try to hold for a few breaths, really get some strength and warmth flowing. Inhale up and hold there for a few breaths. You'll naturally feel yourself rocking a little bit with each inhale and exhale. And on your next exhale, come down. Hold your hands in front of you and rest your head on your hands in crocodile for a moment. Gazing out to one direction. Relaxing the breath. Gaze out to the other side. Alternate upper spine twist. Here, bring your hands out, arms out long in front of you. We'll be inhaling up opposite arm and leg. So right arm, left leg, left arm, right leg. And we'll alternate between each on each round of breath. And also working on lifting your chest at the same time as those arms and legs. So on your next inhale, inhale up the chest, right arm and left leg. Exhale down. Inhale, left arm, right leg. And you can press down into your down leg and down arm for support. Inhale, right arm, left leg. Exhale. Inhale, left arm, right leg. Exhale. Inhale, other side. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. One more time each side. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale, rest for a moment. Before we try the full pose, where we'll hold both arms and both legs lifted off the ground. Just holding that for a few breaths to really activate the entire back and the glutes. And if you try it and it seems too much for you, you can alternate back and forth with lifting just your arms on an inhale, exhaling, and then inhaling, lifting both legs. But give the full pose a try first. So if you need to readjust, reach back out long, your legs and your arms. And on your inhale, lift both arms in your chest, and then activate your glutes to lift both legs off the ground as much as you can. You can keep just looking down at the ground so you're not compressing your upper spine and neck. And try to hold for a few breaths. Be really intense pose. Next exhale, relax down. Finding sleeping crocodile again. Supta Makarasana. And then gaze out to the other direction in crocodile. Sometimes when I'm here, you can roll your temple or forehead around on your hands to massage yourself. For a moment, roll onto your back so we can massage the back muscles we just worked. And hug your knees in. And you can just make any sort of motions you want to roll out those muscles, whether you're rocking back and forth or side to side or making little circles. Anything's fine as long as you're feeling a nice little massage and release. And then roll back on your chest. With your hands under your chest or to the sides of the chest, like cobra. Press up into cobra and then shuffle your hands forward until they're almost straight, but you want to keep a gentle bend so you can maintain a little strength in the pose. We'll come into seal pose. You support your lower spine, activate your glutes a little bit, and press down into the tops of your feet. And while you're here, it's not just a passive pose. Stay active through all your fingers and pull back on the mat or ground to reach the chest forward a little bit while also reaching up and forward. Take a couple nice deep mindful breaths, expanding the abdomen as well as up into the chest as much as you can. Next exhale, bend into the elbows, coming down into the ground. Readjusting your hands next to the chest. And pressing up again into plank and downward dog. And then step your right foot to the top. And then swivel your feet to face the long side of your mat. And then pivot your feet so they're roughly out at a 45-degree angle. We're setting up for goddess pose. From here, bend in both knees, squatting down as much as you can. Activate your glutes so you can keep the hips a little bit forward and also fight that urge for your knees to just cave in. Keep active in the back body. And then from here, bring your left elbow onto your sort of inner left thigh. Place your hand on your right knee or thigh. And then sink into your left elbow for a slight spinal twist to the right, gazing up over the right shoulder. And then alternate. Place your right elbow on your right knee, and left hand on the left knee, and sink into the right shoulder for a twist to the left, gazing up over the left shoulder. You want to be actively pressing in a little bit into your elbow, as well as the left hand, to gently help yourself into the twist. And one more time on each side. Left elbow, left knee, and press into the twist, gazing up over the right shoulder. This time to the left. Right elbow on right thigh. Press into the left hand on the left knee, gently into the twist. Exhale back to the center. Place both hands on your thighs. Hands then to the heart center. And press back up. And step to the top of your mat. Inhale the arms up. Exhale down into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And on your exhale, frame the feet with both hands. Step back to a plank for a moment, where we'll just hold. Maybe you can help each other here by looking at each other's posture and telling one another whether they're sinking the hips or extending too far back over the wrists. And then drop your knees, coming into child's pose for a moment, spreading your knees wide and walking forward with the arms, drawing your breath into the upper back. Winding the practice down. Hands back up into Vajrasana, and again, put that pillow or blanket between your calves and thighs if you need to. And if you have those straps available, you might want to use it for this shoulder stretch. Um, because if you're not able to touch your hands behind your back, strap can definitely help you go deeper into this pose. But if you don't have a strap or you can't touch your hands, you can also just do this variation where you're bending your right arm and gently pressing down onto your elbow with the other hand. So bend your left arm around the back. Bring your right arm up overhead, then bend the elbow, reach towards the back, and then either reach your fingers towards each other to try to clasp, or use a strap to gently tug yourself deeper into the stretch. And hold and breathe into the stretch in your left shoulder for a few moments. Release your clasp, this time bending the right elbow down and up the back. Inhaling your left arm up, bending the elbow, reaching the fingers towards each other, or using a strap to gently pull your hands a little closer to each other to increase the stretch in your right shoulder this time. Gently release the clasp. You don't overexcite your shoulder. Bring both feet out to one side. Swivel down onto your bum. Bring both legs out in front of you. Or we'll set up for a seated spinal twist, which we've done in one of the previous sessions. So if you remember, there's a few options. You can bring your foot in towards your hips and hug into the twist, or you can cross your foot over your straight leg and hug or bind into the twist with the elbow. Or from here, you can also tuck this foot, the other foot under for an even more intense twist. But only do that one if you can keep your spine from hunching in the pose. You don't want to do it with bad form. So wherever you're at, whatever variation you're doing, bring the right arm, right hand behind you. Inhale, extend through your spine and raise the left arm up. And on an exhale, hug your knee with the left arm or bind with the elbow, coming into a spinal twist to the right. And you can press into that down hand a little bit to keep your spine a little more erect and activated. And on your exhale, slowly come out. Bring your right hand to the inside of the right foot and come into just a brief counter twist. Exhaling back to the center and switching your legs for whichever variation you're choosing. Bring your left arm hand behind you. Press into the hand a little bit. Press into the floor so you can keep your spine erect and extended. Inhale the right arm up. And on an exhale, come into the twist, either hugging your left knee or binding with the elbow. I find if I bind with the elbow, I can get a bit deeper of a spinal twist, but if I hug, I get more of a hip opening. So whatever you're craving, you can work on the hips, or since it was a spinal class, you can keep working on the spine. But this feels good for my left hip, so I'm gonna do that. Next exhale, come back to the center. Come into a brief counter twist to the right. Back to the center, both feet out. And lay back down on your back. Bring your soles of your feet together and bring them in towards the groin. Knees splayed out open. In a reclined butterfly. And we'll do a butterfly bridge fusion pose here. So bring your hands down by your sides, palms facing the earth so you can press into your hands to support yourself. And we'll do 5 pulses upward here with the breath. And when you do lift the hips off the ground, try to keep your knees from caving in as much as you can. You want to work on our glutes and back muscles, but also keep the groin open. On your next inhale, press into the hands to support the spine. And inhale, activate your glutes and lift the hips off the ground. Exhale down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale. And last one, but we'll hold for a few breaths at the top this time. Inhale, press the hips up. Keep the knees open and wide. Maybe retuck your shoulders under the ground. Shoulder blades towards each other to keep the chest open while we hold. Just exhale, slowly lower to the ground. Bring your knees up over the chest. And then flip the soles of the feet towards the sky and reach in through your legs. And then hands to the outer edges of your feet for happy baby pose. Tugging down on the soles of your feet to feel a nice groin opening. And then you can also massage your spine and the back muscles here in any which way you crave. And following the breath here, we'll tug deeper in and out of happy baby pose. So on your inhale, really tug down into the feet for a groin opening, and on your exhale, release a little bit. Inhale, tug down, feel a groin opening. Exhale, release a little bit. Inhale, tug down. Exhale, release. Inhale, tug down. Exhale, release. And now keep your left leg bent, but straighten through the right for one last hamstring stretch. Then rebend the right knee and straighten through the left. Bend into the left again. Release your feet. Hug both knees in. Give yourself a squeeze. Bring your chin up towards the knees. And take a nice deep inhale here. And retain your breath and give yourself one big hug and squeeze. And hold the breath. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And on your exhale, fully relax downward. Coming into Shavasana. Like one of the other sessions here, I think rather than coming up into a seat at the end for traditional closing, just leave you here in Shavasana so you can relax along your spine for as long as you want. Just letting the ground hold your spine. This way you can repose and relax from the exercises as long as your body craves. And before settling into Savasana, scan your body for any areas you're still holding tension unnecessarily. Maybe around the hips if you need to readjust in some way that allows you to release to the ground better. Scan your face, jaw area especially, to release your jaw and tongue, and your eyes. Before fully relaxing. Total relaxation. No movements except the breath for several special minutes of your day. Relax. Relax. Thank yourself for practicing your spine, regulating the body. Thank you for practicing today. Some peace in your body and mind.